Okay, 45 years ago today, I had the pleasure of playing in the NFL Hall of Fame game in Canton, Ohio. I've been to training camp for about 2 weeks with the Detroit Lions after being a third-round draft choice, and I was pretty excited. The veterans didn't report till late, so they weren't going to play much. So I was told before the game by the offensive line coach, who was Joe Bugle, the infamous Joe Bugle, that I would be playing the whole game at guard. They had me at guard. I'd been a tight end in college. My senior year, they switched me to tackle. And I got drafted as a guard in the NFL in 1976, third-round pick by the Detroit Lions out of Long Beach State. So I'm a Cali kid. I show up to Detroit. Had no idea what Detroit was like. Go to training camp. It's hotter than hell. No air conditioning in the dorm rooms at Oakland University. Had no fan. And they just beat the hell out of me for 2 weeks and said, "Hey kid, you're starting." And I remember before the game calling my dad and the rest of my family and all my buddies that it's gonna be on TV, and that had been the first time I'd ever been on TV. I had never played in front of a TV audience prior to that. And at the college I went to, our games weren't on television. So anyway, I was pretty excited, and I just remember the facilities weren't real good. It was a high school stadium there in Canton, Ohio, and I just remember being nervous. And then I remember going to my locker, and our lockers were actually in a gym, like a basketball gym, kind of a ragtag setup. And I go to my locker, and I have black shoes, and I was told rookies have to wear black shoes. And I'd been wearing white, so I was pretty excited about wearing white shoes for the first time on television. And then I look at my jersey, and my jersey's spelled wrong. They spelled my last name with 2 L's, Bollinger, and it's always been with 1. And I was just devastated. I was so depressed. So I finally got the courage, and went up and said something to the old trainer, not the trainer, I'm sorry, the equipment guy. His name was Friday Macklem, and his nickname was the Nickel Immigrant. He was from Canada, which is right across the river there in Detroit. And Friday was a grouchy old guy. He did not like me because I kept breaking my helmet the first 2 weeks from all the hitting we were doing. And that's something always wrong with my face mask. So I go to Friday. I said, "Oh, Friday, you're not going to believe this. I just talked to my dad and all my friends, and I told them I'm starting tonight." He goes, "You're starting?" He goes, "I didn't think you were that good." I said, "Come on, Friday." He goes, "What the hell's wrong, kid?" I said, "Well, my jersey, my name on my jersey spelled wrong." He goes, "Give me that goddamn jersey." He looked at it, he goes, "You don't spell your name with 2 L's? I said, "No." He goes, "Well, go call your dad and tell him you do now." So I played with my name spelled wrong and black shoes, and I played great. I was so scared and so pissed off that my name was spelled wrong, and I had to wear black shoes, and everybody else wore white, because the rookies had to wear black, and anybody else that were veterans wore white. So it was pretty easy to pick out on TV. And we played the Denver Broncos. And I just remember I also had signed in my contract that if I could be a long snapper, I'd get an extra 10 grand. Well, they tried me out that first 2 weeks. I wasn't very good at it. But in the game, there I go. They stick me in. And I actually had a snap, and unfortunately the roommate that night was the punter on the team, a rookie punter from, I think it was New Mexico State, really nice kid. And I snapped to him in a live game, and the ball went way over his head. He had enough time to run back, catch it over his head, and get it off. And that was the last time I ever snapped in the NFL. And I just remember running down on kickoffs too, and I got a really good tackle. I actually clotheslined somebody because I'd seen that on highlights, And I thought, man, I'm gonna clothesline somebody in the NFL someday. Anyway, I did, and I ended up getting the poor rookie punter cut. And I just remember going home, calling my parents. They were excited because they saw me. They didn't even notice my name was spelled wrong. They could hardly see it. They said, not a big deal. But that's my Hall of Fame game story and NFL Hall of Game. Now, I played another 9 years and never played again in the Hall of Fame game. So I think I went to it one time more as a scout when I was scouting for the Detroit Lions later in my NFL career of 35 years. That's basically it. It's just my quick story on the NFL Hall of Game that's going on tonight. It's 45 years ago. And I just retired from the NFL as a scout for 25 years. So I thought I'd share that quick story. You just never know. You gotta perform well, right, when they spell your name wrong.